All right, everyone. Welcome back to Music Maniacs with Side After Dark. Last one in this studio, so say goodbye to all of this stuff in the background because we're moving to a new place, but we have lots of things to talk about before that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's funny because when we were about to go into this podcast, I was like, oh, man, I wonder what we're going to talk about today. Like, what is there to talk about in music that we haven't talked about? And then Ozzy dies.
Yeah.
Today is the day that we're recording it, the day that he died.
July 22nd.
I can't even believe it. Like, because it's literally like a story. Like, he plays the farewell show, and then he's out.
And then he's gone.
Like, that's a farewell show if I've ever heard it. That's a real, like, no exaggeration. I'm actually out of here.
That's literally a farewell show.
Literally. I feel like, straight up, I feel like God was like, I put you on this planet for a reason, and you did it, and now you're coming back to me.
And now it is what it is, and he's passed on. What I did like about Ozzy is, like, you say what you want about hell and all that stuff like that. He was a believer in God, which was a cool thing to witness. You know what I'm saying? This guy did fear his mortality a couple years ago. You know, he was kind of worried about dying. You know, we all kind of it looks like we all turn into children when we're dying. You know, you're scared about, like, what's going to happen to me and stuff, and you realize that you are actually human after all, and you don't have control over every single thing about your life. So
nobody does.
Yeah, and I'm glad he was here and blessed us with his music and a beautiful head of hair, I will say. Amazing head of hair. He was like, wow. So I'm glad, and I'm glad he's left his legacy. So he's got kids here who will definitely be talking about him in time to come. 8 days after Dan Berg's birthday.
How dare he? No, but it's like, I almost feel bad, like, because obviously, like, he has a family. It's like, it's sad that when you lose anybody like this. But I think I don't think anyone's really, like, surprised.
Correct.
I mean, clearly he was not in the best of health for a while, and he put his body through a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember we were just talking about the reunion show, and I was like, it's crazy that all the original members of Black Sabbath are still around. And then literally, like, 5 days later, joke's on you.
Yeah, Ozzy passes away.
But it's, like, kind of crazy. It's kind of cool in a way. Like, I can't believe that that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of the times when, like, an artist dies, they end up getting bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people, like, rediscover them, or they go back and there's more time after you've been dead to discover someone than while you were alive.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like him dying immediately after the farewell concert just immediately made him even more of a legend.
Yeah.
Like that.
An absolute legend.
You know?
Yeah, because I feel like he had that moment where he resurfaced when the show came on MTV. And that was the moment where people were like, oh, yeah, Ozzy, let's buy some more records. Let's stream some more music. Yeah.
How's Ozfest doing?
Yeah, that was a rebirth of Ozzy Osbourne's career, and he rode that until now, you know. So, I mean, I think that's just wonderful that he was here and that he's able to share his music. So I don't know. I'm gonna miss the alive spirit of Ozzy. Yeah. But you know, I don't know. You know, we were talking about going to see shows in the summer, and Zakk Wylde, who played guitar for Ozzy for a while, has a Sabbath tribute band called Zakk Sabbath.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And they are coming to New York to play. Yeah. So I was thinking about it. I was like, should we go see him? Like, if anybody's going to give Ozzy his true respect, you know, it's going to be somebody who played in a band with him.
Facts.
So it's not going to be just like a regular tribute band, just some guys that we've never heard of before that come on. So
no, they were there. They were actually part of the story.
Exactly. And you know the show's going to be even more intense now that he's actually passed away.
People are going to be crying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so true. I bet the ticket price just went
what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
I'm going to check out the ticket price and just see if it's something I do want to go to and see. You know, I don't want to spend too much money because Stevie Nicks is coming and I haven't really fully decided if I'm going to see her or not.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, so, all these people, you know, all the boomers who blessed us with this great classic rock, you know, they've gotten older, and some of them are getting sick, some of them are passing away, you know, and we got to see them before they leave us for good. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go see Ozzy, but I honestly probably would have never gone to an Ozzy Osbourne concert because I probably would be scared. It's
Of him or of the people around?
of the people around. On the other spectrum, it's like going to a Wu-Tang concert. I would never do these things.
Because it's scary, yeah.
Frightening, yeah, you know? So...
That's a good point, honestly.
Yeah.
But still talking about Ozzy, though, I just really think it's interesting how, like we weren't alive yet when he first came out with Black Sabbath, but I'm imagining that, well, kind of like you were just talking about, I imagine that was the scariest band in the world at the time.
Yeah.
Like, he must have been, that band and him in particular must have been so shocking to people at the time.
Yeah.
And then to see him go, like, throughout the TV show and just, like, as culture changed around him to becoming just, like, a beloved figure is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, obviously, like, back in the day when he was doing a lot of drugs, he probably did a lot of crazy shit and probably didn't treat people that great. But I feel like, in general, I really don't hear people talking bad about him.
In a bad way.
You know?
Yeah. And that is an attestament to the longevity of his career. He was an excellent frontman. You know, you've got to be charismatic. You have to have a really shining personality. And that's one of the reasons why his band is still, like, Black Sabbath is still legendary, and why
Absolutely.
Ozzy as a solo artist was still legendary. It really just happened. There are some other bands that are just as legendary from similar areas that he's from, but people always kind of talk bad about, let's say, like a lead guitarist in the band, or like...
You mean like The Who?
Like The Who, or maybe The Purple, maybe Deep Purple as well, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there's always like, oh yeah, that guy is actually a dick, blah blah blah. But I feel like nobody really has said that about Ozzy. Even like, obviously nobody's gonna say that now that he's dead, but even like before, like just looking him up and seeing interviews and other people talking about him, I feel like everyone was just like, yeah, he was a cool guy.
And you know who would really, really tell us? Sharon, you know, his wife, the actual woman who was side by side with him through the end. You know, your wife, if you've done something wrong to your wife, she will definitely let you know by her actions or her words. And Sharon was never like hard up for cash necessarily. She was a manager before Ozzy, so she had her own like coin, technically. So even when Ozzy was at his worst point, you know, where he split personalities and like threatened to kill her, you know, in her mind, in her heart somewhere, she was like, he didn't mean it, you know?
It's the drugs. It's just the drugs.
And it seems like it was,
Yeah, so I mean, look, again, just RIP to him. It's just crazy when you listen to, well, any of his songs really, but especially like some of the earlier Sabbath songs, just like how interesting his voice is.
Yeah.
Because that's what really made it work.
Yeah.
I feel like, because nobody sounds like him.
No.
And it's one of those things we always talk about. It's like, there's probably people that are like classically better singers. There's a lot of people that are quote unquote better singers than Ozzy, but nobody sounds like him.
No.
Nobody brings that kind of haunted feeling
absolutely
to attract the way that he did.
Yeah.
And then just the influence that he and Sabbath had in general on the development of all rock music moving forward is just crazy. Like, how many subgenres of metal are there now?
Yeah. I follow this Instagram handle called Van Halen for Life.
Love it.
Obviously, they are Van Halen fans.
For life.
You know? And a picture in their story was of Eddie Van Halen and Ozzy. And Black Sabbath had a huge influence on Van Halen, you know? At times, even when they would be practicing or they would be on stage, if Eddie were to go on, Van Halen were to go on before, they would have watched Black Sabbath practicing the night before, and they would steal some things from Sabbath.
As you do.
And then go on and perform those things. And, you know, guitarists and stuff. Ozzy was never really mad at them, but
he was probably a little too high to be mad at anyone at that time. You probably didn't even notice, to be honest.
Yeah. But the craziness of it is that Van Halen doesn't even sound like Sabbath.
No.
In any way. So I couldn't even imagine, what was Eddie taking? Like, what was he doing? You know, for those of you who probably went to a concert and actually saw Van Halen and Sabbath in one ticket, just let us know, like, how...
What an amazing ticket.
That would have been crazy. I would have been afraid to go there, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
1978.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the height of it. No cameras, no evidence. So I would have been frightened.
What happens at the Sabbath concert stays at the Sabbath concert.
There. Yeah. So yeah, let us know. Like, what did Eddie do that sounded just like Sabbath? I would love to know that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I don't think it's a matter of, when you're talking about the influence of Sabbath and Ozzy, I don't think it's necessarily sounding like them as much as it is the kind of like the attitude and just kind of like the vibe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Van Halen was definitely not as like dark sounding, but they were definitely metal.
Yeah.
And metal would not have existed, at least in the way that it occurred in this reality that we live in, without Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
And without Ozzy.
Yeah, yeah. I could see Ozzy's voice being a catalyst for David Lee Roth to be like, my voice is fine.
I could do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So interesting.
I don't think David Lee Roth ever bit the head off a bat. So what are you going to do about that? Huh?
He probably bit the head off of a beer bottle. Definitely.
Ouch.
Bit the head off of some baggies. For sure.
Yeah, well, that's both of them. But, you know, what are you going to do? But no, it's kind of even, it's like he's such an icon. It's like, there's not even, like, how much can you even say? I don't know. You can talk about him forever,
Yeah,
I feel like.
definitely. We will miss you, Ozzy. They must have looked like gargoyles back in the 70s when they first came out. Nobody's wearing any other color but black. They all got long hair. They're all, like, brooding
That's
in a
what I'm
way.
saying. Like, we talked about this before. Like, I feel like nowadays, like, some of the more quote-unquote obscure like rock subgenres like metal and like punk, it's more or less mainstream now. And not that it's like you're gonna hear, you know, punk rock and metal on like, you know, top 40 radio, but like that subgenre in that culture is so known now that nobody's really like freaked out if you see like a metal guy or like a punk person.
Yeah.
Like that's just part of the music scene, you understand that. But like them, and again I'm just imagining because I wasn't alive then, in 1970, 69, whatever, to see them.
Yeah.
And this is when like everybody's being like hippies and they're wearing all this colorful like and then they come out in all black like blah blah blah. It must have been insane. People must have been so terrified of them.
Yeah, and people were looking at different religions and stuff like that, but for the most part, we had a very Judeo-Christian society. So if somebody comes out with Black Sabbath, you know, all the Jews and the Christians are like,
what? And he's wearing a giant cross while he's doing it too. Yeah, which always made me laugh.
They're like, what is this? I want to segue. You know, we're going to see Robert Plant later on this year. And
yes, we just got tickets for Robert Plant.
We were super excited for that. Yeah. And a lot of these lead singers do hang out with each other. I saw Jack Osbourne being interviewed one time on a talk show, and he says that, like, Ozzy would just randomly call Robert Plant and be like, hey, I can't find my...
Where's
blah,
my
blah,
cat?
Blah. Yeah, exactly. Just random things. So I'm just wondering how this will affect Robert Plant's concert. You know, if Robert will sing an Ozzy song, I don't know, you know, or what he will have to say about his dear friend that passed away. I'm kind of looking forward to that in a way.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I know in my personal life, in the past 6 hours, I've listened to more Black Sabbath than I probably did in the preceding 6 months.
What's crazy about Black Sabbath too? When I was young, I never listened to them because I was scared. Like I was like, I'm not going to listen to this. You know, people always say, oh, these people like you can play their record backwards and you'll hear some haunting thing.
Yeah, the devil has a message for you. Or
exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah, you know, I was shocked at about like 15, 16 to actually play Sabbath and listen to actual meaningful words come out of their mouths, like, you know, that of Ozzy's mouth and background singers and stuff like that. That was always a shock to me too.
It wasn't just I love the devil.
Yeah, it was about
the devil is cool, man. Yeah, that's not. There is. I don't even think did they ever even say devil, or they might have said Satan in like a song or two.
Yeah, and I wish I could quote Ozzy. I remember him saying something about
Satan
that,
laughing
like
spreads his wings.
Yeah,
but
like
even that wasn't praising Satan.
Yeah,
that was anti.
Yes,
Satan.
yeah, he said something to that effect. I wish I could remember the quote, but saying that he wasn't a Satanist. Like, this is not about praising Satan. This is like almost like anti-Satan if you think about it.
Yeah, it's just the packaging.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of even brings kind of like light to the whole idea because it kind of makes you think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, I like to think about, you know, people that exist like Black Sabbath and artists like them who people say are more geared to, like, let's say, like Evil and stuff like that. That's part of existence because when you actually look at, let's say, some biblical characters and stuff who were like, quote unquote, God's favorite, they were a little bit evil, you know. They had some evil, you know, there's a couple of them.
Well, the whole thing is that the evil and the good is supposed to balance out.
Yeah,
right?
and once you're here on Earth, there's no way you're like 100% good. Like there's some wrong that you do. Like you gotta lie sometimes too. Like just for work, you know what I'm saying? You gotta pretend to be happy. You're not in the mood to go. You know, you call out.
But I'm having a great day.
You know what I mean? You're
Happy Monday, everyone. I hate when people say that shit to me.
You know?
Anyway.
You're like, oh, I'm sick, I can't come in. You're not sick. You're just not trying to go into work today. So
Didn't you go to a concert last night?
you know,
No, but it's true.
Yeah, so
it is true.
that's pretty much what existence is. Well, I don't know. I kind of want to segue. Do you have more to say about Ozzy at all?
I don't know. I'll probably think of more in like the preceding, like after we finish the podcast, honestly. But it's like, yeah, like I'm just, it is sad that he's gone, but I am just really happy that he stuck around this long, and that he was able to do what he loved all the way up until the very end.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's really kind of inspiring about it. It's like, yeah, he did die right after the reunion or the farewell show, but it's like he was still able to do shows.
Yeah.
Up until the very end.
Absolutely.
That's
amazing.
what I was saying at the beginning. Let's wrap it up with this because it all comes back together. I literally feel like God was like, I put you here for this reason, and you did it, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's literally like a storybook, the way that went down. It's crazy.
It's beautiful. It's pretty poetic. And
yeah, I hate sounding like so ecstatic about the way that he died, but it's like it really is poetic.
Well, I mean, we knew it was coming, and it's better than a shock. We had also Malcolm Jamal Warner died the night before, and he's a big icon for Gen X and for millennials and anybody who watched reruns of like the Cosby Show and stuff. And he was into music as well. He directed a lot of early hip hop videos, which made him cooler than the character he played. And I feel like that was a huge shock to everybody. I would rather have heard of him in a car crash or a heart attack.
Well, because he was so much. Well, first of all, he was like relatively young.
Yeah.
And then, the way drowning is a terrible way to die.
It's a terrible way to die. It's like, it's frightening. You know what I'm saying? And it's the riptide, and it's like knowing that you're not going to make it, and you're still kind of like grasping for your life. That had to be the last few seconds. So something like that is shocking as opposed to like Ozzy, who we knew was older and who was kind of fading away. Yeah. And we kind of just closed the book on like his life, but his legacy lives on. I wanted to touch on another icon because it's July 22nd, and it's Don Henley's birthday. I don't think you guys know that I'm a fan of the Eagles, that we are both fans of Eagles.
You like the Eagles? It's just Eagles.
Yeah, stop saying the, okay?
Don't say the Eagles. They'll come after you. Defamation suit.
Yeah. I wonder if I'll ever get great like that. Like I'll sue SeaWorld for using C in their title that sounds a lot like Sifa. If I could just sue them. Then you can't do that.
They're too big for that.
Exactly. And if
they're not big enough.
Right. And if New York City ever does another campaign of taking graffiti off of things, if I could sue New York City for that campaign because they use the word graffiti and it just sounds too close to mine.
That would be really funny.
One day I'll be like Eagles.
Also, why not leave the graffiti? It's art. Why you hate art?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would hate to find out that a major artist died on my birthday.
You're talking about Don Henley and on his birthday. Yeah.
So today is his birthday. I forgot exactly how old he was. And I did the math because it's the 22nd and my birthday is April 22nd. So, like a geek, I felt we were somehow connected. And I'm like, exactly how many years older is Don Henley than I am?
But he's not even the same month.
He's not the same month. But the 22nds do match up.
Okay.
So, I just wondered, do you guys think Don Henley is offended that Ozzy died on his birthday?
I mean, the audacity.
No,
Doesn't he know that it's Don Henley's birthday? That man sang Hotel California. What is War Pigs? That is really funny. But,
that's interesting. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Don Henley.
Hope that doesn't. Imagine, they're backstage because the Eagles are still on tour right now.
Facts.
And just a little sidebar, I have heard Glenn Fry say the Eagles. So if I slip up and I say the Eagles, but Eagles are still on tour doing their farewell tour. Listen, Don.
Their 20th.
Don't take Joe, please. Don't. Take Don before you take Joe. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Whoa.
Who said that? Who said that?
Whoa, that was crazy. I think that was someone next door. These walls are really thin.
But imagine it works like this. So they're backstage and they're about to do their warm up for tonight. Let's say it's like noon. It was noon today.
Yeah.
And like all the roadies and stuff, they come out with a cake for Henley, and they're like, "Happy birthday!" And then some roadie in the back
is
about
to cut the cake, and then someone runs in, guys! I just heard the news, and he's like.
And then all the roadies are pretending not to pay attention to that Ozzy news, and they're like,
blow out the candles. I wonder if they were friends.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder.
Once you get to that level, like there's only so many people at that level. They definitely met.
Yeah.
You ever see the video of Ozzy meeting Paul McCartney like 10 years ago and they had never met before?
No.
It's actually crazy.
Interesting.
He's like, he says to Paul, he's like, "You're my hero," and he's like, they're both old at this point. They're clearly like senior citizens. He's like, "You're my hero. I've always wanted to meet you," and Paul's like, "Oh, well, you're great, man." You know what I mean?
Insane.
It's just really interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, Sabbath is huge. I'm sure they're in the top 10 of greatest bands of all time, greatest selling bands and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the Beatles, everybody would look up to the Beatles. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen Eagles footage where they were looking up to Zeppelin, and they're like pretty much the same age, you know, and they were like, well, Zeppelin does this and this and that. And it's just interesting to see, you know, huge icons look up to other icons.
Well, hey, I mean, this is the thing. Now, you know, I think about it sometimes. It's like, it's crazy when, like, really good musicians are fan of other musicians, but it's like all those people are musicians because they love music.
Yeah.
And if someone else is making great music, then you probably love it too, unless you're a hater.
Unless you're a hater, we do have some haters in the bunch. There have been some haters. Maybe we can talk about that.
I
on
heard
our
that
next
Dave
podcast.
Mustaine didn't get invited to Ozzy's farewell concert. I'm not even kidding. That's not a joke. I actually heard that was a thing, and he was pissed.
Whoa, that's crazy.
But that's actually hilarious, though, isn't it? I bet Metallica was invited.
Yeah, I heard that Marcy doesn't like whoever's the lead singer from The Cure. You know, there are people who don't.
Robert Smith?
Yeah, they don't like each other. Yeah, there's always something that's very interesting. Or Pete Townsend didn't like Zeppelin being compared to The Who. He actually hated that, and he did not like Jimmy Page's guitar playing. I actually just saw a short about that like about 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you know, all the comments were like, hater, big time. And, you know,
I also heard that Eric Clapton didn't like Jimi Hendrix.
he took him out. No.
This is all hearsay. But yeah, shout out to Ozzy. Shout out to Robert Plant. I can't wait to see him. I'm trying to think. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So like we said when we started, this is the last that we're going to be recording in this studio. Mm-hmm. So thank you guys for being along on the ride. I'm trying to think how many apartments or places we've recorded in. So we had... The first reaction videos we did were my apartment in Williamsburg. Yeah. We did some at your house.
Sometimes in my basement, yeah.
In your basement. Then we did the other one in Bushwick, then this one. So this new place we're going is going to be the 5th S.A.D studio, more or less.
Yeah. I'm going to rank the apartments. I'm going to rank the studios. Okay.
Go.
Okay. For cooling and temperatures, I would say your first apartment. That was the best one.
I did have central air.
Yeah.
That's a big deal in New York City.
That was amazing. For lighting, I would say your second apartment. That was the best lighting, I feel like.
For like natural lighting?
Yeah.
Like the sun?
Yeah, and the way we looked on camera, all of the thumbnails and stuff. I love looking at the thumbnails from that era.
I'll put up some pictures so you guys know which studios and apartments we're talking about. Or because I feel like it probably would be really confusing to anyone but us.
Yeah.
To be totally honest.
Yeah.
What else?
This one is my least favorite. This one's not bad, but this one's my least favorite. Because I feel like, I don't know, it's something about recording in here. It's like you can hear the air.
You can hear the air.
Yeah, and one of our patrons, Joe, was like, you guys look like you're in a basement. And
Joe Flo?
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe Flo.
Yeah, when we first did the first couple of videos in this apartment, he was like, you guys look like you're in a basement. And there's something about the setting, the way we're kind of, I don't know, I feel like we're low and the walls are high, but even though I like this studio,
Calling me short?
Out of the 3, I feel like we're down and the room is bigger than us, and somehow it kind of makes us uneven. Even though, you know, when you guys see us right now, the top of the screen is not too far from our heads, but sometimes, there's something about this that makes us look sat down too low. It makes the room look bigger. But I'm excited to see what comes next. Imagine if the recording is way worse than anything we've ever experienced.
What if you could hear the air even more?
And what if we look even lower? What if we're like here?
Where do you rank your basement?
No, my basement is last on the list. My basement is last. Even though I was home, so it's like I just had to walk downstairs. It was convenient for me because I didn't have to go anywhere. That's the least favorite because the lighting in the basement is not the greatest. So it always kind of made us look kind of like gray or something like that.
That's true. But also, that was when we first started and we didn't even have like a webcam. I think we were just using the built-in Mac camera.
True.
That is not a recipe for looking great, guys.
Yeah. And we had no background, you know, it was just the white wall, so we hadn't built anything up yet, you know.
That's true. I was about to say, well, that's what we have here, but at least there's guitars in the back.
Yeah, there's guitars in the back, and second studio had guitars in the back, and we got to see the Funko dolls and stuff like that, and we would do
slowly build up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
We would do reactions close to the screen, and then we would do the podcast further back from the screen. It was a cool adventure.
Oh, back when we had space. Wasn't that a good time? Yeah, no, I mean we've been through a lot. You know, we've been through a lot of spaces. I thank you guys for again coming along with us, seeing the different spaces. I'm excited to get the next one set up. I think I want to just manifest this and put this out in the universe. It's going to be the best one yet.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so say goodbye to S.A.D Studio number 4. But we got lots of stuff we're working on. We're finally gonna have the live album out soon. We're taking a break after our next show, August 7th, from shows just to focus on recording because we've been working on our second album for like 5 years on and off. I mean, that's crazy. Like our first album we put out in 2020.
Yeah.
Right? And it's 2025.
Yeah, we're almost at Cardi B status. Like, when's that second album?
You call me Cardi B?
At least we put out a project in between, though. At least we did
put out an EP in between. Yeah, that's true.
And some singles.
But still, you know, it feels right. It feels like the time is right to drop the album. We have a lot of songs we're working on. We can't wait to share them with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, just thanks again for being here. Comment your favorite performance or song from Ozzy or Black Sabbath. Tell us your favorite. If you saw them, give us some memories. Give us some stories. We'd love to hear about them from people that were actually there, that actually got to see them. Because again, unfortunately, we never really got the chance to see them.
Nope.
So definitely do that. And until next time, this has been Music Maniacs with S.A.D After Dark. We'll see you soon.
Later.